Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our fifth Q&A clinic session today. So this is an interactive session where we will answer any questions that you may have on the use of the eAF on the PLM portal or any specific questions related to the PLM portal itself. So feel free to post your questions in the Slido. My colleague Anna Maria will shortly explain how to use the Slido if you're not familiar with the tool yet. Also, please feel free to upvote questions in the Slido to make sure that if you feel that they're important, they will be definitely answered. And I will let Anna Maria explain how this works before we get started.
Okay, so you can join slido.com via the QR code or the code displayed, so 2874178. It is the same code that we used last time for the Q&A clinics that we had last week. You can send new questions or upvote the question already sent, and we will start from the backlog of questions that we had last week. So let me share.
Lovely. Thank you, Anna Maria. So as mentioned, we will start with the latest questions from our previous Q&A session. But of course, if you do have new questions, please feel free to post them in Slido and upvote them. But just so that we can get started immediately, I will start answering some of these questions that we have already received. And as usual, we will keep the Slido open, and we always try and answer the questions after the sessions, but sometimes we don't have enough time, but we will publish a document compilation of questions that we have received during the sessions. And also if there are questions that we feel that are very common and would help a larger number of users, we will address them also in the user guide for registration and in the user guide for portal navigation where relevant.
Okay, so first question, I'm working on a group type
Type 2 or type 1A?
Yep. Variations emissions. Within this package, I would like to describe proposed editorial changes in the product information which are not linked to a specific scope. How should be done with the eAF?
So there is no procedural change introduced by this web-based application form. So if you have had similar changes in the past using the interactive PDF, you should do exactly the same as you've done in the past. If it's a very procedural specific question, please contact the procedure lead via email and they will be able to help you. But if it's nothing specifically technical about the form, there is no changes to how you would have submitted using the interactive PDF.
Okay. Next one, could you please tell me at which time point should be the eAF be finalized on the PLM portal compared to the sending of the variation package to the EMA common repository?
Certainly. So we would normally advise that you can finalize the form when you have exported the final version from the portal, that version of the document that you're intending to send to EMA or in future, of course, to any other regulator, so that it is also an indicator for yourself and your colleagues, if you have co-authors within your organization, to indicate that you have finished editing this particular application form. Then once you have submitted it, and if you receive a VSI from EMA, where you need to update the form, then you would go back to that same form in your completed section of the PLM portal and open that form back to editing so that you can make your changes. So it'll move back into the draft section. And once you've again finished editing and you're ready to export the final version, so then you can finalize the form and it'll again move back to the completed section.
Okay. Next one, as we organization are not yet registered in any of the RMS, PLM, etc., we haven't actively submitted an application for registration. What do we need to do to be able to use web-based eAF?
Hey, I will hand over to my colleague Joel, who is our expert on access management, and he can give you a very brief summary of the steps. And we, of course, have a registration guide to refer to.
Indeed. Thanks a lot, Christina. Good afternoon, everybody. So here, before eating to the accounts and the roles that you need, you should, if not done yet, you should ensure that your organization is registered in the OMS, Organization Management System. So for that, you have to access the SPORE website, spore.ema.europa.eu, and there is a registration process to follow. Apart from that, we need to have users registered. So on the one hand, you need to have an EMA account that can be created in the EMA account management portal. The link is, or the URL is register.ema.europa.eu. It's a simple process where you have to add your name, email, and then confirm the registration. And then apart from that, you have to have roles assigned to that account. The roles to access the PLM portal are the applicant related ones. So you need to have an applicant coordinator, contributor, or manager role, depending on which operations you are meant to do when using the web-based eAF. And for that, again, you need to access the EMA account management portal and request the roles accordingly. We have some training sessions on the step-by-step on how to submit an access role request. We have also the registration guide. So I would invite you to check those training guides.
Thank you, Joel. We are concerned on OMS data quality and time taken by service desk to resolve it. Is there any way to expedite our request if it is impacting our readiness to DADI CP procedures?
Um, so yes, so here we have maybe two separate aspects. So we have an OMS request, and then we have something what we internally called an integration routine. The integration routine from our PLM portal EAF reads the data in OMS database. So we have identified, we have some known issues related to this integration routine, and sometimes there are errors. So we have a couple of known issues. So for example, data that is already updated in OMS. So if you log into OMS portal and you look at your entry in OMS, it is correct. But when you log into the PLM portal, the same organization data is incorrect in the application form. And this will this will tell us this is an issue with the integration routine. We also have in some places, we have issues where old entries continue to remain to be visible in the PLM portal, even though the correct entries are already available in OMS. Also, the correct entries may be available in the PLM portal, in which case, again, there's certain issues with the integration routine. It's not so severe, of course, if your updated entry is also available, but I understand the concern if only the outdated old entry is available. I know I've seen cases such like that through the service desk, and we are trying to solve them as quickly as possible. But in general, OMS has a 5 working day SLA to solve any issues, and they tend to be quite timely. So if there are issues, please feel free to raise a query through the service desk, and please mention if the updated entry is already available in OMS, or maybe there is for some other reason there is a delay with OMS. But normally OMS is relatively quick to solve and update requests. But we know that we have some integration issues with OMS, so please bear with us. It is something that we would consider, hopefully, as a teething issues that will go away in near future.
Thank you. Will there be any kind of interface for upload of data from own system?
So here, I think you're referring to an API where you can, or system to system integration. So we are working, or we are not quite working yet, but we are indeed planning that in future you would be able to submit data also machine to machine, or there would be some machine to machine interaction. Currently, our efforts are concentrated on really these early life support features and bringing in features that are required for the use of the forms in mandatory use. So we are still lacking certain features for mandatory use. So once we have fully functioning forms that have all the features that are required, we will then move into what we would call convenience features. We understand that this is something that has been requested heavily from pharmaceutical industry users, and it is certainly something that we would like to implement in future, but it may take some time before we get to that.
Okay. Is it possible for the admin user access role to change the user access role associated for a consultant or revoke it?
I can take this one. To change it directly, no. To revoke it, yes. So indirectly, the admin user can change the user access roles. One user or one consultant, let's say, that has a specific role that is no longer needed or for any other reason needs to be revoked. This can be done either by the own consultant or by the user admin. There is a section in the EMA account management portal called Manage Access, where the user admin or again the consultant can revoke roles. And if needed, let's say that the consultant needs another role or needs less grants, so the consultant needs another role. In that case, the consultant would need to submit another access role request. So in a nutshell, both admin and consultants can revoke roles, and if needed, if a new role is needed, the user, the consultant needs to submit a new access role request.
Thank you, Joao. How quickly do changes in OMS, like in activation, take to sync with PLM?
Apologies, I was unmuted. So normally, OMS changes should be reflected quite quickly. So the integration should run every 15 minutes. But at least if the information after OMS has been updated, so you can see that the update is already available in OMS, it should become available in PLM portal within an hour at the very latest, except if there sometimes I know there are issues with the integration routine and some entries are not picked up for some reason, or some certain details have not been activated, and we've had some cases where this has been a case for several days, and we are investigating why it is happening and why certain things cannot be integrated or are not updated as they should. But of course, it's not necessarily 15 minutes from the time you submit your request. Of course, it's 15 minutes from when your request has been handled in OMS, that then the sync should be in place in PML portal, but there may be delays sometimes.
Under proof of payment, the MAH is displayed. In the export, additionally, the MAH contact of the EMA notified person is included. Do we need to enter customer purchase order number? Do we need to enter billing contact person?
So here's a slight change to our interactive PDF form. So you could just simply click if not relevant. So you have an established process with EMA, and these fields did not need to be filled in. Now they are actually shown in the PDF, even though it's indicated that it's where relevant. You can include the customer purchase order number and the reference number, but it is not mandatory, similarly as it wasn't mandatory in the PDF. So this is something that we will need to further discuss with our business colleagues, because there is a change how this form works, and we were not able to test this properly in the just before the launching of the forms. But for now, it is not mandatory. If you didn't do that in a PDF and the procedure runs fine, there is no need to do that now, even though the fields are shown empty in the exported PDF form. So this is something that we are working internally to see how to solve this, and we'll add some more information into the user guide to explain why this difference is there and how to deal with it in future.
Okay. How the information from EMA database SciMed is populated? What are the various authenticate sources considered for SciMed data?
So currently the data from SciMed is coming so the product information comes from SciMed instead of from XEVMPD. So there's a system called PMS, Product Management System. So information on centrally authorized products is currently populated only from SciMed into the PMS. We also read other procedural information. So, for example, other procedures, so the procedure numbers that can be added if they are available. We have another known issue for that area of the form. But basically it is the products. So this is information that EMA procedures. So SciMed is our procedural case management system at the moment, but it also holds all our product information. So that's the data source for it. And there can be sometimes differences, and there are differences between XEVMPD and SciMed, and we're currently correcting and aligning the data in those two databases. So if you have a specific question, you can also submit a query through the service desk, and we can look at that very specific details on the product. We also have some cases where there are some issues with regards to the integration routine, or there may be slight differences to the data that you see in the PLM portal, what you would expect to be available. So please do raise those topics, and we will look at them in detail with our PMS colleagues and other internal colleagues. If the issue is on the SciMed side, whether it is from PMS or whether the issue is in the integration routine. So because it's still very early stages, so we need to also investigate sometimes when there are some differences to understand where they are spanning from.
Okay. Yes. Can you please provide the link to the PLM portal? Sure. We can provide this.
This answer has been replied in the Slido, so you can also find the URL as a reply.
Perfect. Next one. Can you inform if it is possible to extract from the PLM portal all the PMS IDs, MPIDs, and PCIDs from the products in PMS per MAH?
At the moment, it's not possible to extract. So you can see if you log into the portal and you go to the Spore tab, there is the products tab. You can see the PMS IDs, but it's not currently possible to extract them into a separate document. So the PLM portal eAF provides these products at the moment, but it's not an user interface that is the PMS UI where you would be able to extract information.
Okay. The Ask EMA button in PLM portal is not working as link is inactive. Can it be solved?
Yes, so we have identified that there are a few links in the portal that are currently not working. So we have unfortunately had some errors, erroneous links included in the portal at the time of the go live or one of the updates. So we have already raised bugs on these. So they are in our bug backlog and they will be prioritized because it's of course very important to have these links corrected there. So it will be solved.
For MAA numbers, some national procedures do not have the MAA number issued and communicated by the NCA for all the approved pack sizes. They only provide it if the MAH requests for it. What will happen in the future when national procedures are available on DADI?
That's a good question. And this is something that we are currently testing. For nationally authorized products, the packages per se are not listed in the system. So it's rather different from how the centrally authorized products are available for selection and how the linking of the product and the scope is done in the form. So we are working towards the NAPS data release, but we're also looking at how do these differences between nationally authorized products and centrally authorized products are reflected in certain functionalities. But there will be information provided and training provided for these type of questions when we're a little bit closer to the NAPS release.
Okay. Do I understand correctly? My organization is not automatically registered in PLM. We need to ask for registration.
So organizations are not registered in PLM. They are registered in SPOR. So the database, the general database for organization data. The PLM reads the organization details from that database. What needs to be checked is that your organization is already or has been already registered in the past in our OMS database. And if so, PLM automatically read it from it.
Thank you, Shah.
When transition period will end for CAPS?
That's a good question. And we are just about to publish an updated timeline. However, one could say, when will the transition period start for CAPS? So we have not yet started a transitional period towards the mandatory use, even for centrally authorized products. We want to align this a little bit with the nationally authorized products. And because those products are not yet available in the system, we have also not started the transitional period for CAPS. But also we have some known limitations in the system. So, for example, it's not yet possible to add new presentations or new packages using the web-based form. So we have still some very important functionalities that need to be added into the web-based forms before we can start the transition period towards the mandatory use. And at the moment, we anticipate that we will have all these features available Q2 or Q3 next year in 2023, and then we will have a UAT, a larger external UAT that will confirm that all potential scenarios that are needed for the minimum viable product are available for CAPS and NAPS procedures, so that we can then start the transitional period for both CAPS and NAPS. And it is anticipated that that will run for 6 months, and after that, the use of the web-based forms will become mandatory for variations.
Thank you. So where is the latest Q&A located? So for this one, yes, Christina.
Yes,
Please.
so we we have published the Q&A documents on the forum of the PLM portal. So if you go to the PLM portal, you can see from on the top right hand menu you have different options, and there is one called forum. Inside the forum, you will find notifications, information about the use of the system, the user guides, and Q&As. And these are also available on the eSubmissions website under the PLM portal eAF page.
If I may add, I put the links directly to all the published Q&As as a reply to that answer. So we had already some, quite a lot, and you can
Fantastic.
directly access.
Thank you, João.
Thank you, João. I think we can keep the last. If a MIH requires a user access role for a consultant, but subsequently has to change it, is it possible to change it to another role?
I take this one. Not directly. So again, here the process of revoking the access and further requesting a new role needs to follow. So the revoking can be done either by the user admin or by the consultant itself. And then a new role, if needed, needs to be requested by the consultant.
Thank you. I think we have some time for the last one. I have an access denied to PLM. I only selected the org ID lock ID on the MIH. The request has been approved. Do I need to select all lock ID? What could be the issue?
A bit difficult to say just by reading this. So you have to make sure that you have requested a role for your organization. The role needs to be approved by the user admin of your organization, and that we cannot know if it has been approved or not until we see it in our system that the role is assigned to you. So you may want to reach out to your user admin and request to approve. I would suggest if you check that you have already a role assigned to your account and you still face any access issue, contact us via the service desk. You create an issue and with a screenshot your user ID, and we have a quick or a more in-depth look to the issue.
Thank you, João. Okay, so the time is over. We will launch a short poll where you can where you can rate the session and leave you any comments. This is optional, so you can leave comments regarding the session. So I leave you, Christina, for the closing.
Thank you. And I can see we have just very few questions left. So we will anticipate to respond to these today, just after this meeting, after this session, as quickly as we can. So please check back into Slido and we will try and answer to these as quickly as possible. And we would like to thank you for participation, and we will be organizing more training and interactive Q&A sessions next year. And with that, I would like to wish you a very, very good rest of the day and good holiday period ahead. Thank you.